They say if you want to understand the past of mankind, go to Egypt. But if you want to understand how humans evolved from the past to the future, go to China. With a history of more than 5,000 years, China is not just a country, but a world of its own with majestic landscapes, the majestic Himalayas, mysterious deserts, quiet ancient villages, and bright megacities. On this journey, we will not only cross high mountains, long rivers, or bustling cities, but also explore the soul of this great civilization. If you love deep cultural journeys like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment to share your feelings, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. And now, let's begin the journey to discover China, a mysterious and colorful country, where the past and the future blend in every breath. Few places in the world are as fascinatingly paradoxical as China, where you can have one foot in ancient history and the other in the technological future. With an area of over 9.6 million square kilometers, China is the fourth largest country on the planet, stretching from the Tibetan Plateau to the Pacific coast. It is also home to more than 1.4 billion people, the world's largest population, with more than 50 ethnic minorities and hundreds of languages and dialects coexisting in a multi-layered, multidimensional cultural space. Its geographical location is both a strategic advantage and a source of astonishing diversity. To the west are mountains, deserts, and plateaus. To the east are plains, deltas, and bustling cities. Each region has its own identity, from architecture, cuisine, language to lifestyle, creating a vivid overall picture. The most special thing is the fascinating contrast: the ancient city wall towering over the high-speed train line, the sound of temple bells mixed with the sound of machinery, the traditional countryside next to the modern city. And in this journey of discovery, we will start from west to east, from the sacred land of Tibet to the vibrant coastal cities, to open up the vivid layers of a China that is colorful, multi-layered, and full of surprises. There are places that will amaze you with their natural beauty, and places that will silence you with their spiritual depth. Tibet is a place where both come together. The Tibetan Plateau, the roof of the world, is located at an altitude of more than 4,500 meters, where snow-capped mountains curve under clear skies all year round, and the Himalayas stand like pillars connecting the earth and the sky. This is not just a land, it is a state of mind. Tibet is the heart of Vajrayana Buddhism. On the mountain slopes and windy grasslands, chants echo from ancient monasteries like the Potala, once the palace of the Dalai Lamas, both a symbol of power and a mystical spiritual center. Prayer flags flutter, chakras spin endlessly, and sacred meditation rituals take people beyond the limits of time. Nomadic life is still attached to herds of cattle, tents, and seasonal migrations, rustic yet tranquil. People believe in reincarnation, with mysterious stories about souls, signs of reincarnation, and the connection between this life and the next. Saying goodbye to the spiritual land of Tibet, the journey will take us to Xinjiang, where desert sand dunes, green oases, and ancient merchant footprints tell the legend of the Silk Road. If Tibet brings us closer to the spiritual world, Xinjiang opens a completely different chapter, where the desert winds still carry the echoes of the ancient Silk Road. Xinjiang is a vast land in the far west of China, where the Taklamakan Desert, one of the harshest deserts in the world, stretches to the horizon. The journey through the Taklamakan is a test of patience and faith, when amidst the vast sea of sand, there still appear green oases, ancient vestiges, and whispers of history. This is also the homeland of the Uyghurs, an ethnic group with a strong Central Asian Muslim identity, with their own language, enchanting music with the sound of the rawap, graceful dances, spicy cuisine with lamb, grilled bread, and typical milk tea. In ancient cities like Kashgar and Turpan, the winding cobblestone alleys, colorful bazaars, and dome-shaped architecture with a strong Middle Eastern feel recall the glorious days of ancient merchants. The traditional market system is not only a place for trading, but also the soul of the community where people trade, chat, and preserve the traditional way of life. From the footsteps of ancient merchants in Xinjiang, we will continue to travel north to Inner Mongolia, where vast grasslands stretch and the sound of horse hooves echoes across the horizon. Amidst the wind whistling through the vast grasslands and the echo of horse hooves echoing from the horizon, the Inner Mongolian steppe appears as an endless epic of nomadic life. Here, people live in the vast nature with their own rhythm, wild, fierce, and also full of romance. The Mongolians still maintain the tradition of hunting birds with eagles, an art that requires a deep connection between humans and animals. Horse races on the steppe are not only a game, but also an occasion for the community to gather and relive the indomitable spirit of their ancestors. Mongolian music, with its slow singing like the wind blowing and the echoing traditional instruments, is the soul of this land, reflecting the aspirations, nostalgia, and pride of a people living between the vast sky and the deep cold nights. In the ever-changing modern world, there are still Mongolians who choose to preserve the nomadic lifestyle as guardians of the memories of the steppe. They live in harmony with the harsh nature -40 degrees in winter, dry summers, with a fortitude forged over many generations. Leaving the vast grasslands of Inner Mongolia, we continue our journey to southwest China, to Sichuan, the land of pandas, majestic mountains, and unmistakable spicy flavors. In the heart of southwest China, where mountains and rivers meander everywhere, Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, emerges as a gentle yet vibrant gem. Dubbed the City of Pandas and Tea Ceremony, this place is home to the world-famous Giant Panda Conservation Center. In the quiet and green space, the image of lazy pandas chewing bamboo or playing innocently has become a symbol associated with Chengdu's identity, attracting millions of tourists to admire and learn about conservation work. But Chengdu is not only about nature and cuteness. This city also conquers diners with its famous Sichuan cuisine, where the spicy taste of chili, the numbing taste of pepper, and the rich aroma of a series of local spices create dishes that people will never forget. When night falls, under the stage lights, the Peking opera mask transformation art makes the audience amazed, when each mask changes in an instant, revealing the unique depth of folk culture. Saying goodbye to the gentle and unique Chengdu, the next journey takes us down the Yangtze River to explore Chongqing, a 3D city standing between mountains and rivers, where architecture and modern life intersect with rare majestic terrain. If there is a city that makes visitors look up and then look down in amazement, it is Chongqing, the most unique 3D city in China. Built on steep mountain slopes, where layers of roads, houses and subways overlap like a maze, Chongqing appears as an architectural masterpiece amidst rugged nature. High-rise buildings rise from the mountainside, bridges span deep ravines, and subways go through apartment buildings, all create an urban landscape that is both surreal and vibrant. As a major center of the southwest region, Chongqing not only stands out for its urban form, but also maintains its unique culture, blending modern life with the open-minded, simple spirit of the people of the mountains. Underneath the concrete and lights, life still goes on every day on the Yangtze River, where ships and boats pass busily, carrying goods, memories, and even dreams of making a living. From bustling riverside wharves to floating markets, Chongqing's breath is closely linked to the constant flow of water. When night falls, the city seems to awaken with thousands of lights, shimmering on the river surface, a vivid picture of Chongqing that never sleeps. And from here, we continue our journey down the Yangtze River, the great river that has witnessed thousands of years of history and the fierce survival of the Chinese nation. Like a vein running through the giant body of China, the Yangtze River, or Chongjiang, is not only the longest river in Asia, but also the soul of Chinese civilization throughout thousands of years of history. From its source in the Tibetan Plateau to the mouth of Shanghai, This river has nurtured countless generations, witnessed the formation of dynasties, ancient cities, and great changes in Chinese society. The Yangtze is the vital waterway, the place for agricultural and commercial development, and the irreplaceable cradle of culture. The landscape along which the river passes is equally majestic, from rugged gorges, spectacular bends, to massive structures such as the Three Gorges Dam, an engineering marvel, and the world's largest hydroelectric power plant. Along both banks, life goes on every day, from simple small villages to bustling cities, all depending on the water and products of the river. However, the Yangtze River is also facing increasing challenges. Climate change causes unusual droughts or floods, and industrial encroachment weakens the ecosystem. Saying goodbye to the historic river that is undergoing challenges, the journey takes us north, where the Great Wall stands tall in the sky, an immortal symbol of the national will and strength to protect China's borders for thousands of years. When stepping on the ancient stone steps of the Great Wall, we seem to be entering a page of living history, where the will and intelligence of many generations of Chinese people have crystallized into each brick and each wall spanning the mountains. This magnificent work was not built in just one king or dynasty, but is the result of centuries of labor, from the time of Qin Shi Huang to the Ming Dynasty. Each period left its own mark on the architecture, length and location of the Great Wall. Not only are there famous sections near Beijing such as Badaling or Muxianyu, but in the far north, there are also wild and little-known parts of the Great Wall, shrouded in mist and moss, like secrets waiting to be discovered. There are also countless legends surrounding the Great Wall, from the story of Meng Jiang crying for her husband and causing the wall to collapse, to the legends about the spirits guarding the border, all contributing to the cultural depth of the work, which is not only of military value but also a spiritual symbol. However, in the age of mass tourism, the Great Wall also faces many dangers. Erosion, vandalism, and excessive commercialization are threatening the pristine beauty and sacredness of this heritage. Leaving the majestic Great Wall, the journey continues to take us to Beijing, the thousand-year-old capital where the past intertwines with the future, and each street tells a part of the story of modern China. Beijing, where every step echoes the sound of history, is a rare city in the world that can reconcile the past of thousands of years with the modern pace of life down to the second. The heart of the Chinese capital beats throbbingly among iconic structures, such as the majestic Forbidden City, where emperors ruled over their people, the vast Tiananmen Square witness to important historical moments, and the serene Temple of Heaven where the mandate of heaven is prayed for with solemn rituals. Each location is not only a relic, but also a living piece in the collective memory of the entire nation. Not only architecture and history, Beijing's spiritual culture is equally unique. A quiet tea ceremony, soft ink strokes in calligraphy, or Peking opera performances with resonant melodies and colorful masks, all demonstrate the depth of traditional culture. Yet Beijing today is also a hub of innovation, where high-tech interactive museums are changing the way people perceive heritage, turning history into a multisensory experience. Amidst the city's vibrant life, Beijing's young generation is shaping a new identity, confident, global, yet rooted in its roots. It is this East-West fusion that makes Beijing shine with its ancient and modern beauty. From this ancient capital, the journey takes us to Shanghai, where the bright lights paint a portrait of a prosperous China, where the past, present and future converge on every street corner. If Beijing is the memory of an empire, Shanghai is a window to the world, flashy, youthful, and always on the move. The city is a multi-layered mosaic, where the colonial architecture of the Bund stands next to modern skyscrapers like the Oriental Pearl Tower, a dazzling symbol of a China on the rise at breakneck speed. The urban landscape is not only visually stunning, but also a reminder of a complex history and a bright future. When the sun sets, Shanghai truly wakes up. The nightlife here is bustling with bars, nightclubs, bustling food streets, and an energetic youth expressing their individuality through fashion, music, and street art. Neighborhoods like Tianzifang have become new cultural hotspots, where art studios, quirky cafes, and contemporary galleries mingle in quaint alleyways. This is also a clear manifestation of the rise of China's creative economy, where art, technology, and business thrive together. After experiencing the vibrant and modern life of Shanghai, our journey will lead to Jiangnan, the land of poetry and ink paintings, where winding canals and ancient gardens preserve the quiet beauty of time. If there is a place in China where time seems to stand still, it is Jiangnan, a land of quiet beauty like a vivid ink painting. Here, ancient cities like Suzhou and Hangzhou still retain their elegant architecture, meticulous ancient gardens with lotus ponds, boulders, and winding corridors, and a system of canals interwoven like silk. Walking across the curved stone bridges, or sitting on an ancient boat drifting past moss-covered roofs, one can easily feel a poetic space where nature and humanity blend together to the point of being almost inseparable. Jiangnan culture is as exquisite as its landscape. Here, the art of calligraphy, ink painting, and traditional musical instruments such as the pipa and guqin are not only preserved, but also continue to inspire the younger generation. This land was once the resting place of many famous poets of the Tang and Song dynasties, who left behind thousands of immortal poems, turning the rivers and gardens here into symbols of Asian artistic passion. Jiangnan is a gentle symphony between history and spiritual beauty. And from that peaceful place, the journey moves south to Guangdong, where cuisine is not only a need for survival, but also a living language connecting people, culture, and memories. In Guangdong, people don't just eat to fill their stomachs, they eat to tell stories, and every dim sum breakfast is a flavorful chapter in that enchanting culinary book. The culture of yum cha, enjoying morning tea with exquisite dim sum dishes, is not simply a habit, but a social and community-connecting ritual. In restaurants bustling with chatter, the sound of food carts, and the aroma of steamers, one finds a part of the soul of Guangdong, bustling, connected, and full of identity. Guangzhou City, the major center of Guangdong Province, has been an international trade gateway for hundreds of years. The cultural exchange between China and the West is clearly marked in the architecture, from traditional old houses to Catholic churches and French colonial buildings scattered throughout the city. Not only a meeting place for merchants, Guangdong is also the birthplace of waves of immigration to all over the world. Overseas Chinese bring their hometown flavors to San Francisco, Australia, and Southeast Asia, and vice versa. They also bring back overseas influences that enrich local life. Amidst the modern and international pace of life, Guangdong still retains its own unique flavor. From the quiet breath of Guangdong, we look up to another China that is shining, where tradition holds hands with technology, and thousand-year memories still resonate in the sleepless cities. China today is not only a land of millennial heritage, but also a place where technology and innovation are booming, bringing the country into a new era at an unprecedented pace. Breakthroughs in technology, from space exploration to artificial intelligence development, have turned China into one of the world's leading innovation powers. Space exploration projects, intelligent robots, and big data systems have not only broadened scientific horizons, but also changed the way people live and work, creating new opportunities and challenges. In addition, education is considered the key to sustainable development, with the younger generation increasingly equipped with global knowledge and ambitions. They not only inherit rich cultural heritage, but are also future makers, carrying the aspiration to bring China into the international arena with an important role. Advanced training programs and global connections have created a generation ready to innovate, create, and integrate deeply. In this intersection, China not only preserves the past, but also continues to write an inspiring development story, a journey to affirm its position and stature on the world map. China, a vast country in East Asia, is famous for its thousand-year-old culture, magnificent landscapes, and strong development. From the Great Wall to modern Shanghai, from pristine nature to rich cuisine, this country has a harmonious beauty between tradition and modernity. China is not only an economic power but also preserves a unique cultural identity. What do you think about China's rapid development? Leave a comment to let me know. China's terrain is very diverse, including plateaus, plains, dense forests, deserts, and long coastlines. To the west is the Tibetan Plateau, the roof of the world, home to the highest peak on the planet, Mount Everest. To the east are fertile plains such as the North China Plain and the Yangtze River Delta, the center of economic and agricultural development. China has many large rivers, of which the Yangtze and Yellow rivers play an important role in history and life. With a diverse climate from temperate to tropical, China possesses a rich ecosystem, suitable for many types of agriculture and tourism. China is a country with many famous tourist destinations, each with its own beauty and unique mark. Beijing, the capital of the country, is a city steeped in history with ancient architectural works. The most prominent is the Forbidden City, the majestic royal palace that was once the residence of Chinese emperors. Nearby is Tiananmen, an important political symbol, and the Summer Palace, a large royal garden with beautiful scenery, imbued with ancient architectural art. In contrast to the ancient appearance of Beijing, Shanghai is the most modern economic center of China. This city stands out with skyscrapers, including the Shanghai Tower, one of the tallest buildings in the world. When night falls, the Shanghai Bund sparkles with brilliant lights, creating an extremely splendid and impressive scene. Chinese women today play an important role in many areas of society. They are not only good mothers and wives, but also talented leaders, entrepreneurs, scientists, and artists. In the work environment, more and more women are holding high positions in large corporations, contributing to strong economic development. In addition, Chinese women also pay great attention to education and career. They constantly learn and improve their skills to assert themselves in modern society. In addition, in the fields of art, sports, and entertainment, many female artists and athletes have achieved outstanding achievements, bringing the image of Chinese women to the world. However, they still face many challenges, such as the pressure to balance family and work. However, with the spirit of independence and social progress, Chinese women are increasingly asserting their position, becoming symbols of strength, intelligence, and courage. China has a diverse and majestic terrain, with many world-famous natural wonders. One of the symbols of China's geography is the Himalayas, home to Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, always covered in white snow all year round. This is a dream destination for mountain climbers and is the natural boundary between China and Nepal. Besides majestic mountains, China also has vast deserts such as the Gobi Desert. As one of the largest deserts in the world, the Gobi has a wild beauty with long sand dunes, arid steppes, and unique flora and fauna. This is also a land rich in historical value, which was once an important part of the legendary Silk Road. In addition, China also has long and rich rivers, the most prominent of which is the Yangtze River. This is the longest river in Asia and the third longest in the world, playing an important role in agriculture, transportation, and economy. Along both sides of the river are bustling cities such as Shanghai, Wuhan, Chongqing, helping to connect major economic regions of China. Not only mountains, deserts, or big rivers, China also impresses with the Longji terraced fields. The green terraces stretch across the hillsides, reflecting the bright sunlight, creating a beautiful natural picture. This is not only a smart form of farming for ethnic minorities, but also an attractive destination for tourists. With diverse terrain, from high mountains to big rivers, from deserts to plains, China is a country with rich natural beauty, attracting tourists to explore and experience. Chinese cuisine is famous for its diversity and unique flavors. Each dish has its own sophistication. When mentioning Peking duck, people cannot forget the crispy skin, soft and sweet meat, and rich sauce, creating an irresistible flavor. If you love spicy food, Sichuan tofu is the perfect choice. This dish stands out with the spicy, tingling flavor of chili and Sichuan pepper, creating a unique taste stimulation. Similarly, Chongqing's spicy hot pot also impresses diners with its bright red, spicy hot pot broth, combined with many types of meat and vegetables, bringing a challenging culinary experience. Besides spicy dishes, dim sum is a typical representative of Cantonese cuisine, with small, pretty cakes, with diverse fillings from shrimp, meat to vegetables, attractive in both flavor and appearance. Finally, candied fruit is a traditional snack, with sweet and sour hawthorn balls covered in shimmering sugar, associated with the childhood of many Chinese people. These dishes not only show the richness of Chinese cuisine, but also carry the cultural characteristics of each region. China is a country with a long-standing culture with many architectural works of profound historical and spiritual significance. Among them, the Forbidden City is a symbol of the power of feudal dynasties. Located in the heart of Beijing, this magnificent palace was the residence of the emperor for more than 500 years. The brilliant golden-tiled roofs, symmetrical architecture, and sophisticated carvings demonstrate the authority and pinnacle of Chinese architectural art. In addition, the Great Wall is one of the greatest wonders of the world, stretching thousands of kilometers from east to west. This work was built through many dynasties to protect the country from invasion from the north. The solid walls and towering watchtowers are a testament to the indomitable will and creativity of the ancient Chinese people. Today, the Great Wall is not only a historical relic, but also an attractive tourist destination, attracting millions of visitors every year. In addition to military and royal architecture, China also has unique religious symbols, typically the Leshan giant Buddha. This is a giant Buddha statue carved directly into the cliff during the Tang Dynasty, 71 meters high, majestic and silent. The statue represents the long-standing beliefs of the Chinese people, bringing peace and protection to pilgrims. It is impossible not to mention the Shaolin Temple, the cradle of Chinese martial arts. This temple is where Kung Fu masters practice with strict discipline, combining martial arts and Buddhist spirit. The unique martial arts performances here make visitors amazed and admired. These works not only have historical value but are also cultural symbols of China, attracting tourists from all over the world to admire and learn about the glorious civilization of this country. Do you want to learn about women here? Leave number 1 in the comments section below so we can go together. If you love majestic nature, Zhangjiajie is a destination not to be missed. Here, there are giant stone pillars rising high into the sky, creating a surreal landscape, the inspiration for the magical scenes in the movie Avatar. No less attractive, Phoenix Ancient Town has a peaceful beauty, with ancient wooden houses along the poetic river. This town is an ideal place to experience the traditional cultural space of China. Finally, Zhuzhegu is known as heaven on earth, with clear blue lakes, reflecting the sky and colorful forests. The beautiful waterfalls make this place a dream destination for many tourists. Each place in China has its own beauty and attraction, contributing to the diverse and attractive tourism picture of this country. China is a vast country with a unique blend of past and future. From majestic mountain ranges like the Himalayas to modern cities like Shanghai, from ancient traditions like the Lantern Festival to technological breakthroughs with 5G and artificial intelligence, China is constantly developing and asserting its position on the world map. With a culture of more than 5,000 years of history, this country still maintains its own identity while absorbing modern innovations. Ancient structures like the Forbidden City or the Great Wall coexist with skyscrapers and the world's most modern high-speed train system. The combination of tradition and modernity is the special point that makes China attractive. China, a symbol of progress, where megacities shine, self-driving cars glide on highways, and technology leads the world. But behind the glamour lies a hidden story: the elderly who built the country, now left alone. Imagine an old man sitting quietly on a wooden chair, looking at a deserted village road, or an old woman collecting scrap metal in a dark alley in the city. In remote villages, only the sound of wind through broken windows. This is China in 2025, where the aging population crisis is exploding. By 2040, more than 400 million people over 60 will live here, far exceeding the population of the United States. But who will care for them? Who will ensure they are not poor or lonely? Today, we explore this invisible crisis, from deserted villages to dark street corners, from unfulfilled promises to desperate efforts. This is the story of a nation racing against time. Get ready, because this journey will make you reflect on progress and compassion. Like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave your #1 comment to explore together. Let's get started. Since the 1980s, China has experienced an unprecedented migration. More than 350 million young people have left the countryside to find work in big cities, from factories in Dongguan to tech companies in Hangzhou. The economic boom has needed young workers, and they have flocked to cities with dreams of a better life. But the price of this migration is abandoned villages, where only the elderly and faded memories remain. In Hunan province, there are villages where more than 85% of residents are over 60. Once green rice fields are now overgrown with weeds. Schools that once echoed with the sound of reading are now closed, with dusty chalkboards. An old woman, Ms. Su, who lives in one such village, shares, "I miss the days when the whole village gathered together. Now, there are only a few of us left, living like ghosts." These villages have lost not just young people, but also life. Shops have closed due to lack of customers. Health clinics lack doctors and medicines. The elderly are left to do everything themselves, from growing vegetables to repairing their homes, despite their increasingly frail health. The exodus has brought prosperity to the cities, but it has also left an unfillable void at home. China has a pension system, but it is on the verge of collapse. In big cities, people who have worked in state-owned industries receive relatively stable pensions of around 4,000 to 6,000 yuan a month. But in the countryside, the average pension is only 150 to 400 yuan, not enough to buy food, let alone pay medical bills. According to a report by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, more than 55% of rural seniors live below the national poverty line. "My pension is only enough to buy a little rice," said one elderly man, Mr. Liu, who lives in Guizhou province. "If I need medicine, I have to sell chickens or borrow money from my neighbors." The urban-rural divide is a serious problem, with poor provinces like Yunnan and Gansu often lacking funds to pay pensions. Experts predict that the national pension system could face a deficit of more than 12 trillion yuan by 2040, as the number of retirees far outstrips the number of contributors. The government has tried to raise the retirement age and encourage private pension funds, but these measures have been little more than a band-aid on a widening wound. The elderly are paying the price for the unpreparedness of a system that cannot keep up with the pace of an aging population. In 1980, China faced a difficult problem: how to control its population to promote economic development. The one-child policy was enacted, requiring each family to have only one child. The policy reduced the birth rate from 5.8 children per woman in 1970 to 1.5 in 2000, helping China avoid a population crisis. But it also created the demographic disaster that is unfolding today. In traditional societies, an elderly person could rely on many children to care for them. But with the one-child policy, an elderly couple had only one child, and this child often had to shoulder enormous pressures, long overtime work, high living costs in the city, and the responsibility of raising children of their own. Many young people even had to go abroad to study or work, leaving their parents alone. According to a study by Renmin University of China, more than 60% of rural elderly people do not have children living nearby. "My daughter is in Australia," said one man, Mr. Chow, who lives in Shaanxi province. "She calls every week, but I don't want to tell her I'm sick. I'm afraid she'll worry." The one-child policy has reduced the number of young people, but at the cost of the disintegration of the family network that was once the backbone of Chinese society. With life expectancy rising to 78, seniors in China need more medical care than ever. But the public health system is being stretched to its limits. In rural areas, many clinics have just one doctor for hundreds of patients, and medical equipment is often outdated. In cities, large hospitals like Beijing's Union Hospital are often overcrowded, with long lines of elderly people waiting from early in the morning. A serious problem is the shortage of care workers. According to the China Medical Association, the country needs 12 million more caregivers by 2035, but currently has only about 500,000. Elderly care work is considered lowly, with an average salary of just 3,000 yuan a month. "I love this job, but I can't live on this salary," said a caregiver named Wei, who works at a nursing home in Tianjin. "Many of my friends have quit their jobs to become drivers or construction workers." The government has invested in nursing homes, but more than 70% are private facilities, costing between 8,000 and 15,000 yuan a month, far beyond the means of most seniors. Meanwhile, public nursing homes meet only 10% of demand, with waiting lists that stretch for years. As a result, many seniors are left to cope with ailments ranging from high blood pressure to diabetes without adequate medical support. For thousands of years, Chinese culture has been shaped by Confucian thought, where filial piety is an unshakable pillar. Elders are seen as sages, upholders of family and community traditions. In ancient villages, a family might consist of 5 generations living together, sharing joys and hardships. The elderly are at the center of rituals, from ancestral worship to longevity celebrations, and are cared for with devotion by their children and grandchildren. In ancient Chinese literature and art, the image of an old man sitting under a peach tree, telling stories to his grandchildren, is a symbol of harmony and longevity. Festivals such as Qingming and Chongjiu have always paid special respect to the elderly, with gifts and wishes for good health. But the world has changed. The upheavals of the 20th century, from the Cultural Revolution to Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms, have shaken the traditional family structure. The introduction of the one-child policy and the wave of urbanization have caused millions of young people to leave their hometowns, leaving their parents and grandparents in cold homes. One grandmother, Ms. Du, who lives in Fujian province, shared, "In the past, my house was always filled with laughter. Now, it is just me and him, living with memories." Filial piety is still mentioned in political speeches and movies, but in reality, it is being suffocated by the pressures of modern life. When the pension system fails and children cannot care for them, many seniors turn to last resort shelters, temples, churches, or charities. In Jiangsu province, Longhua Temple has become a home for more than 50 homeless seniors. Monks cook simple meals, provide warm blankets, and listen to the stories of those who have no one else to share them with. One woman, Ms. Wu, who was found wandering the streets, now lives at the temple. "I thought I would die on the streets," she said. "Now I have a place to sleep and people who treat me like family." But places like Longhua Temple are only a temporary solution. According to China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, tens of thousands of seniors across the country live in charitable facilities, relying on donations and goodwill. Some NGOs have set up small, community homes, where seniors share rooms and receive basic care. But these facilities are often understaffed and under-equipped, leaving many without the care they need. "We try our best, but there are elderly people who need doctors and medicine that we don't have," said Mai, a volunteer at a facility in Hubei province. "Seeing them in pain, I feel helpless." These shelters are a testament to compassion, but also a warning about a system that cannot meet the needs of millions. In addition to poverty and lack of medical care, seniors in China face a silent enemy: loneliness. As children leave, neighbors disappear, and communities disintegrate, many seniors fall into depression. A study from Fudan University found that more than 45% of seniors in China experience severe loneliness, with the numbers even higher in rural areas. "I have a radio, but I don't turn it on anymore," said Mr. Feng, an elderly man from Zhejiang province. "The music doesn't make me feel less lonely. I just want to hear people's voices, even if it's just a hello." In some cities, community centers offer drawing, mahjong, or tai chi classes to give seniors a chance to socialize. But these programs only reach a small fraction of the population, and many still live in an eerie silence. Loneliness affects not only mental health, but also physical health. International studies show that lonely seniors are 30% more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, and stroke. In China, where the family used to be the center of life, loneliness among the elderly is a deep cultural wound, challenging the values that society once took pride in. China is not the only country facing an aging population. Japan, with more than 30% of its population over 65, has built an advanced elderly care system, using robotic assistance and programs to encourage seniors to work part-time. Germany has implemented national long-term care insurance, ensuring all seniors have access to health care. These models show that the crisis can be managed, but only with early preparation and heavy investment. China can learn from this by encouraging childbearing through policies such as housing subsidies, tax breaks for large families, and expanded parental leave. It also needs to train millions of caregivers and build affordable public nursing homes. But most of all, China needs to restore the value of its elderly to society, making them part of the community rather than a castaway. A notable initiative in Japan is Schools for the Elderly, where seniors teach children about history and culture. China could adopt this model, helping the elderly feel valued and connected to the younger generation. These changes will not be easy, but they are necessary to avoid a social catastrophe. The Chinese government is not ignoring the crisis. Since 2018, a long-term care insurance program has been piloted in 20 cities, allowing workers to contribute to a fund that pays for services such as nursing homes and home care. But the program lacks uniformity, with regulations varying from province to province. In Guangdong, seniors can receive medical subsidies, but in poorer provinces like Hunan, the program is virtually non-existent. The government has also pledged to have at least one senior center in every city by 2030, offering services like home visits and community activities. In Anhui province, a care village model has been piloted, where seniors live in small homes with the support of nurses and volunteers. But these initiatives are just pieces of a much larger puzzle. With a population of more than 1.4 billion people, China needs a comprehensive reform, from increasing the health budget to training human resources. Communities are also trying. In Yunnan province, a group of women have formed a sisters team, bringing food and clothing to lonely seniors. One grandmother, Ms. Yao, who received help from the group, said, "They don't just bring me food. They bring me joy." But these efforts, while valuable, are no substitute for a strong national care system. The aging crisis is not just a problem for the elderly, but a threat to China's entire economy and society. As the young population declines, the workforce shrinks, threatening the economic growth that was once the country's pride. According to the Asian Development Bank, China's elderly dependency ratio will rise from 22% today to more than 55% by 2050, meaning each worker will have to support more than 2 elderly people. Healthcare and elderly care costs are soaring, expected to account for more than 20% of GDP by 2040. Without reform, the pension system could collapse, leading to social unrest. "I work 12 hours a day, but I still worry about how I can take care of my parents," said Lon, a young worker at a company in Shenzhen. "If they get sick, I don't know what to do." These pressures could lead to social discontent, especially as younger generations feel caught between family responsibilities and personal ambitions. The crisis is also affecting culture. As the elderly are left behind, traditional values such as filial piety are fading, leaving a spiritual void in society. This is not just an economic issue, but a question of national identity. Imagine you are standing in Tiananmen Square in Beijing, where history meets modernity. Around you are sparkling glass buildings, dazzling digital billboards, and streams of young people rushing with new smartphones. You walk into a convenience store where a robot waiter delivers you a cup of bubble tea in seconds. In Guangzhou, smart robot factories operate 24/7. In Hangzhou, tech companies like Alibaba are shaping the future of global e-commerce. But turn down a smaller street, and you'll find a different reality. An old man pushes a rickety cart, trying to sell some fruit to buy medicine. An old woman sits on the side of the road, her eyes glazed over as she watches the passers-by, unnoticed. And if you step away from the city lights and venture into the countryside of Hubei and Jiangxi provinces, you'll find villages almost devoid of young people. According to China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, more than 65% of residents in some rural areas are over 60. The empty houses, abandoned fields, and silent streets tell the story of a generation left behind. China is a country of contradictions. On one side lies the glory of technology and economic growth, on the other lies the darkness of inequality and neglect. How can a country lead the world in artificial intelligence, but leave millions of its elderly people living in poverty? China's aging crisis is a wake-up call to the world. Progress cannot be sustained if it ignores the people who sacrifice to achieve it. China has an opportunity to change by reforming its pension system, investing in healthcare, and building a society where seniors are respected not just in words, but in actions. Each of us has a role to play. Spend time with your grandparents, parents, or older people in your community. A phone call, a meal together, or a hug can do wonders. In China, these small acts are making a difference, from volunteer groups delivering meals to the elderly to children writing letters to their grandparents back home. We want to hear your thoughts. What about this story resonates with you the most? What do you think we can do to ensure that no one is left behind, in China or anywhere else? Leave a comment and share this video to spread the message. This is not just a story about one country, but a story about humanity and our responsibility to each other. China, a land of wonder and ambition, but also a place where millions of elderly people live in oblivion. From the deserted villages of Jiangxi province to the dark alleys of Shanghai, from temples that opened their doors to the homeless to families torn apart by distance, this story is a reminder that progress is only meaningful when it lifts everyone up. There are countless more stories waiting to be discovered, from the hidden corners of China to global challenges. Which story would you like us to tell next? Leave a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue our journey through lesser-known stories. Thanks for joining us, and see you in the next video, where new horizons await. If Tibet brings us closer to the spiritual world, Xinjiang opens a completely different chapter, where the desert winds still carry the echoes of the ancient Silk Road. Xinjiang is a vast land in the far west of China, where the Taklamakan Desert, one of the harshest deserts in the world, stretches to the horizon. The journey through the Taklamakan is a test of patience and faith, when amidst the vast sea of sand, there still appear green oases, ancient vestiges, and whispers of history. This is also the homeland of the Uyghurs, an ethnic group with a strong Central Asian Muslim identity, with their own language, enchanting music with the sound of the rawap, graceful dances, spicy cuisine with lamb, grilled bread, and typical milk tea. In ancient cities like Kashgar and Turpan, the winding cobblestone alleys, colorful bazaars, and dome-shaped architecture with a strong Middle Eastern feel recall the glorious days of ancient merchants. The traditional market system is not only a place for trading, but also the soul of the community, where people trade, chat, and preserve the traditional way of life. From the footsteps of ancient merchants in Xinjiang, we will continue to travel north to Inner Mongolia, where vast grasslands stretch, and the sound of horse hooves echoes across the horizon. In the heart of southwest China, where mountains and rivers meander everywhere, Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, emerges as a gentle yet vibrant gem. Dubbed the City of Pandas and Tea Ceremony, this place is home to the world-famous Giant Panda Conservation Center. In the quiet and green space, the image of lazy pandas chewing bamboo or playing innocently has become a symbol associated with Chengdu's identity, attracting millions of tourists to admire and learn about conservation work. But Chengdu is not only about nature and cuteness. This city also conquers diners with its famous Sichuan cuisine, where the spicy taste of chili, the numbing taste of pepper, and the rich aroma of a series of local spices create dishes that people will never forget. When night falls, under the stage lights, the Peking opera mask transformation art makes the audience amazed, when each mask changes in an instant, revealing the unique depth of folk culture. Saying goodbye to the gentle and unique Chengdu, the next journey takes us down the Yangtze River to explore Chongqing, a 3D city standing between mountains and rivers, where architecture and modern life intersect with rare majestic terrain. In the heart of southwest China, where mountains and rivers meander everywhere, Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, emerges as a gentle yet vibrant gem. Dubbed the City of Pandas and Tea Ceremony, this place is home to the world-famous Giant Panda Conservation Center. In the quiet and green space, the image of lazy pandas chewing bamboo or playing innocently has become a symbol associated with Chengdu's identity, attracting millions of tourists to admire and learn about conservation work. But Chengdu is not only about nature and cuteness. This city also conquers diners with its famous Sichuan cuisine, where the spicy taste of chili, the numbing taste of pepper, and the rich aroma of a series of local spices create dishes that people will never forget. When night falls, under the stage lights, the Peking opera mask transformation art makes the audience amazed, when each mask changes in an instant, revealing the unique depth of folk culture. Saying goodbye to the gentle and unique Chengdu, the next journey takes us down the Yangtze River to explore Chongqing, a 3D city standing between mountains and rivers, where architecture and modern life intersect with rare majestic terrain. If there is a city that makes visitors look up and then look down in amazement, It is Chongqing, the most unique 3D city in China. Built on steep mountain slopes, where layers of roads, houses and subways overlap like a maze, Chongqing appears as an architectural masterpiece amidst rugged nature. High-rise buildings rise from the mountainside, bridges span deep ravines, and subways go through apartment buildings, all create an urban landscape that is both surreal and vibrant. As a major center of the southwest region, Chongqing not only stands out for its urban form but also maintains its unique culture, blending modern life with the open-minded, simple spirit of the people of the mountains. Underneath the concrete and lights, life still goes on every day on the Yangtze River, where ships and boats pass busily, carrying goods, memories, and even dreams of making a living. From bustling riverside wharves to floating markets, Chongqing's breath is closely linked to the constant flow of water. When night falls, the city seems to awaken with thousands of lights, shimmering on the river's surface, a vivid picture of Chongqing that never sleeps. And from here, we continue our journey down the Yangtze River, the great river that has witnessed thousands of years of history and the fierce survival of the Chinese nation. Like a vein running through the giant body of China, the Yangtze River, or Chongjiang, is not only the longest river in Asia, but also the soul of Chinese civilization throughout thousands of years of history. From its source in the Tibetan Plateau to the mouth of Shanghai, this river has nurtured countless generations, witnessed the formation of dynasties, ancient cities, and great changes in Chinese society. The Yangtze is the vital waterway, the place for agricultural and commercial development, and the irreplaceable cradle of culture. The landscape along which the river passes is equally majestic, from rugged gorges, spectacular bends, to massive structures such as the Three Gorges Dam, an engineering marvel, and the world's largest hydroelectric power plant. Along both banks, life goes on every day, from simple small villages to bustling cities, all depending on the water and products of the river. However, the Yangtze River is also facing increasing challenges. Climate change causes unusual droughts or floods, and industrial encroachment weakens the ecosystem. Saying goodbye to the historic river that is undergoing challenges, the journey takes us north, where the Great Wall stands tall in the sky, an immortal symbol of the national will and strength to protect China's borders for thousands of years. As the journey comes to a close, what remains is not just beautiful footage, but the echoes of a culture that has lived through millennia. China is growing strongly in the digital age, but beneath each skyscraper, the sound of temple bells echoing from thousands of years ago is still heard. Amidst the wave of modernization, young Chinese people still sit and write calligraphy, still enjoy tea, still wear hanfu on holidays. And perhaps, the true beauty of China lies not in its external grandeur, but in the depth of memory, of identity, where the old and the new meet without confrontation, but together tell the story of a nation that has never stopped evolving. Because China is not just a destination, it is an emotion, a memory, and a journey that you will carry with you forever. If you feel that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment sharing your perspective, and turn on the notification bell to continue accompanying us on the next journeys.